We're going to begin our unit on sun safety. Take some time and watch these two videos. One is Doc Mike Evans on melanoma, and the second one is Dear 16-Year-Old Me. While you're watching those, make sure to take some notes and pay attention. As we look at the image, we're looking at severe sunburn. This is something that we notice people with fair skin tend to do more of. Darker skin tend to burn less, but doesn't mean that you cannot get skin cancer. And we noticed that through the videos, the most common skin cancer is for young people, and, well, it affects young people more often than any other type of cancer, and it's one of the most common cancers that people of the older generation do get. When we look at an image, obviously this is easy to seek out. We know this is cancer, but we'll skip those. We have to know what else to look at. So create a list of ways that you think that you can check for skin cancer. Once you have those ideas made up, then go on and continue with the PowerPoint presentation. The first one's asymmetrical, or asymmetry. So this means without symmetry, which means without being similar on both sides. So if we take something like this image and split it down the middle, we would say side A and side B are symmetrical. If we do that with our moles and we notice that they are not the same, that can be a warning sign that something more serious is taking place. The next one is borders. The mole should be pretty circular, and the borders itself should be quite round. When we look at this image, we notice that the nail itself doesn't have a smooth border. It is jagged, and again, these are warning signs that it could potentially be cancer. Our next one is color. Most moles should be one color. So if your mole is within the browns, it tends to be a healthy colored mole. If it turns black, if it turns red, or it's multiple colors, then we have to make sure we go to our physician and get it checked out. Next one is diameter. The easiest way to remember this one is if you take a pencil and put the end of the pencil, the eraser side, down on the mole, and the mole is smaller than the pencil eraser, we consider that a healthy size for a mole. Moles can be bigger and healthier, but it's a good indicator of healthiness of your skin. It's about 6 millimeters, but again, the pencil is much easier to remember and much easier to actually measure when we're doing a self-check. Last one's evolution. This is the biggest indicator that something is going wrong. So if you've had a mole, it's always looked the same, and then within the last month or two it started to change, you really want to get in to see your physician. Because that change means that the cells are changing, which means it could be cancerous. So out of all of the A, B, C, D, E's, this one is the most likely to cause serious problems. But again, we're looking at the other ones that have been known to diagnose melanoma. So we want to make sure that we are checking ourselves on a monthly basis. These are images of unhealthy moles. You can see that some of them are multicolored. We have irregular borders. None of them are really symmetrical. So I look at this, I cut it down the middle. Side A and side B are different. Cut this down the side. Side A and side B are different. We look at evolution. You can see that this one probably started out like this and then has grown further. So we want to make sure that when we have a mole, that it looks like this one single mole, not that it started to grow and then extend throughout the skin, because that's a sign of possible cancer. All right, so we notice that someone who's had a blistering sunburn is more likely to develop cancer as we get older, and that's what the basis of this slide states. When we get sunburned, what should we do? Well, number one is cool bath. The next one is we have moisturizers, but we want to make sure that it doesn't contain petroleum jelly because that actually helps trap the heat. We want a lotion that goes on top. And again, we don't need scents because we don't need those additional chemicals that can actually cause a burning sensation. Hydrocortisone cream helps reduce swelling, so if it's a severe burn, that can help treat it. We want to make sure you stay hydrated. Water is probably one of the most important steps in this, and obviously avoid the sunlight. And when you look at that last slide, when your burn is severe and you have a headache or chills or a fever, you need to talk to an adult and possibly seek hospitalization. At this point, you could be severely hydrated, severely burned, and advanced medical treatment is required. So some of us don't get cancer, but we notice that even looking at this image, that over time, the sun does damage our skin. It makes us lose elasticity, which means like if you pull on your skin and it bounces right back, it's elastic, and that helps our skin be the organ that it is. over time we can destroy that, and that's what this image portrays. When we look at sun care, we want to make sure that we have a minimum of SPF 15, which means that if I'm really fair, I might be wearing SPF 50, and I'm really dark, I might just need this SPF 15 to take care of my skin. Each of us are different, and each sunscreen is different. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves appropriately. But then we've got stuff like moisturizers that go on our face, especially the ladies, and chapstick. We want to make sure those also have SPF protection in them, because that way we know that we're at least starting our day off with protecting our face, which is the part of our body that is exposed to the sun most and the most likely area of our body to get cancer. All right, so from the videos you should have got this. We want to slip, slop, slap, seek, and slide. So we want to slip on clothes to expose skin. So if I'm going to be in the sun for a long time, we want something that's going to cover our legs, our feet, our arms, and we want to slap on sunscreen, again, back to that minimum SPF. Slap on a hat because, we know that our head, our face is exposed most often. Seek the shade between 10 and 4. This is when the UV rays are most harmful. And then slide on some sunglasses. We cannot forget to have eye protection. All right, again, when we talk about eyeglasses, we want to also make sure that UVA and UVE protected. So just a regular pair of sunglasses doesn't provide the protection that we need. Now what I want you to do is take a moment, and with the person you're sitting next to, I want you to identify some social influences that encourage and discourage sun use. My example, and then you can get started, is this. When we look at celebrities are tan. So to me it says being tan is a good thing. Therefore, I want to tan more often. Now the discouraging thing about social influences is that being in the sun too often can cause cancer. So I want you and your partner to make a list of maybe 3 things each for positive and negative, or encourage and discourage, that would have to deal with sun safety. You can pause this video now. These are the resources I used for this PowerPoint. What we're going to discuss next is sleep. So what I want you to do, now again with your partner, is I want you to make guesses. And this is one piece of paper for the 2 of you. You're going to make a guess. Number 1, how much sleep do you think you need a day? Give me your best guess. Educated guesses are even better. Next, what are the short-term side effects of lack of sleep? So say that you didn't get sleep last night and maybe the night before. What is your body going through? How do you feel? What's your reaction? All right, next one's long-term side effects of lack of sleep. So what if I don't get enough sleep for a month, or for 6 months, or for a year? What's going to happen to me? And then the last question is, why do I need to sleep in the first place? Why is it important? So after you answer these questions with your partner, you and your partner are going to get a computer, and then you're going to find out what the CDC or any other reliable resource says about these questions. Once you're done, we'll share our answers as a class. Stop this video. All right, so here are the answers after our discussion. We need about 8.5 to 9.25 hours of sleep. Short-term side effects we can think of easily. All right, affects judgment, mood, our ability to learn and retain, so keep information, and may increase the risk of serious accidents or injuries. Of course, it makes sense. When we're tired, we get in more accidents. Long-term can affect us with weight gain, such as obesity, diabetes, type 2, not type 1, cardiovascular disease, so we're looking at heart attacks, stroke, clots in other places in our body, and even early death. So these are from very serious reactions to not sleeping in long term. The other thing we need to know is why. So sleep restores our physical and mental energy. The body repairs itself while we sleep, and it detoxes, heals, and replenishes. So even though we seem to be unconscious while we're sleeping, our body is very, very busy working. So while it's working and it's in that process, we want to make sure that we're getting quality sleep, not even sleeping with medicine, because our body can't do what it needs to do. Our brain's reorganizing information, our muscles are healing themselves from that day's exercise, and that's really the way that we become the most functional. All right, now that this unit's over, I hope that you've taken decent notes, and we will finish this unit with a unit test.